Speaking of Joe Bob Briggs, my mentor, who doesn't know it, he has no clue he's my mentor. We never talked to him.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, but here's what's going to happen. I came up with this crazy idea. I was like, you know what? I love what Joe Bob does for the drive-ins and the movies and all that. What can I do? What can I do? What can me and Coco do? Same vein, same idea. Because here's my thing. I don't believe there's any new ideas out there. We're repurposing what other people are doing. And if I have to be Joe Bob Briggs reincarnated, he's not dead, but if I have to be that, it's going to be in the podcast world. Because who better to do a segment like this than one of the most prolific content creators of all time? Those aren't my words. That was Google AI actually says that about me. So,
of course,
producing over 11,000 shows, which I can't believe either, single-handedly. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had teams and all that. But I was like, you know what? What are we going to do that's going to leave the legacy and not let the podcast die?
Yeah. So
here it is. This is going to be the takeover of the week. We probably do this every week. But we're going to go to Just Blane's trailer park. And with Just Blane's trailer park, that means what we're going to do is I'm going to find the most random podcast trailers out there. We're going to fire them off, listen to them together, me and Coco and you at home, and then we're going to react to them. I can tell you this. I'm not out here to bash people. I don't think Coco is either, because we've already talked about that bad energy.
No,
that
we're
juju.
a build-up kind of community here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here to do, because I have heard the worst of the worst. I guarantee you there's nothing we can pull up that I could be like, that's the worst I've ever heard. I've heard a lot over my time, and I never really look at it like...
Hey, now are you talking about season 1 of Practically Magic? Because I was just starting out, okay?
No.
I have gotten a lot better.
You're a natural. You're a natural. Let's go into the first podcast that I've randomly pulled up and fire this bad boy off, and we're just going to react to it. Let's see.
I guess, like Carter did, I should start by introducing myself. My name is Catherine Daniels.
Hi.
Lucas. Hi.
Lucas, you're up. Fabulous.
I really need to start locking my door.
Well, that's cute.
As if I don't have a key.
No turning back now, guys.
August won't let me put out a job listing because, quote, when the time is right, that special person will find us.
I want to start fresh here. That's what this place is all about, right?
We might have to shut down the boarding home for good.
But there's a chance.
Bourbon Street Boarding is a special place.
This house has a legacy worth preserving.
Promise me, even if it's just for a little while, you won't think. You'll just do.
And you're sure everything's okay with us?
Yeah, we'll catch up when things calm down.
To the roof, then. What? All our best plans are laid up on the roof.
Well, hey there, Lucas.
Carter, hi. I didn't know you were going to be here.
You missed something this important? Never.
I love you.
I love you too.
What you're doing, what you're building out here, it's amazing.
I picked up this recorder and decided to carry Carter's legacy forward.
I found my place. Now I need to find my purpose.
Okay, now this is not your typical type of podcast. I see what they're doing here. Coco, do you see?
It sounds like cuts of recording, right?
That's what it is. So it sounds like it's almost like that stage play type of situation where it sounds like maybe this stuff is scripted. Could be some AI voices in there. I don't know, but they've got this feel to it that's like the decades old cassette tapes. And I can see what they're stitching together here. Let's actually see the description, because that's what it's talking about here. When Lucas moves into New York City boarding home to start a new life, he discovers decades-old diary cassette tapes left behind by his room's first occupant. Now, they got me wanting to listen to this. The tapes foreshadow tragedy, but they also lay out a beautiful path of invaluable advice for building a new life in the city. This is cool to me. I like
it. Kind of reminds me of the old radio theater. What did they call those things where they had people playing characters and someone was there with their sound effects, and they used to do full shows for people
vaudeville?
In the evening.
You're talking about the vaudeville shows?
Over radio, yeah.
Yeah, you had Playhouse and vaudeville and stuff like that, and that was very similar to what... Yeah, you're right. Like that brings me to think about this show that we just listened to the pod for. it kind of brings up like a mystery theater type feel too. You know, like they're
Yeah.
weaving a story together. I'm intrigued. I just heard it. I was a little confused at first, but then you kind of catch on. And I think if you listen back to it again, you would catch on because that cassette recorder is right at the beginning. That sound effect is there. That's cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
it kind of gave me a Dawson's Creek was the first thought in my head as I'm listening to kind of the intrigue of we have to save the boarding house and Lucas and Connor and I don't know these characters, but somehow they're intertwined in some sort of thing and someone's saying I love you, and then I'm like, ooh, it's like Joey and Dawson and
Oh, you going
I don't
way
know
back.
that whole drama.
You're going way back there, huh? That's wild. I like that.
The 90s. I'm a product of the 90s. What can I say?
Let's go ahead and get to our next trailer here. I want to hear this one.
My name is Ryan Cantu, but I'm better known as Nexpo. I'll tell you why in a moment. But first, who I am. I'm a storyteller, and I host a YouTube channel called Nexpo, where I find tales that haunt me and share them with millions of you. Unsolved mysteries, cults, strange and bizarre crimes, the internet's darkest rabbit holes. These are all true stories that, well, they stay with you, keep you up at night. Even from a young age, I've been obsessed with the dark, the unknown.
Oof.
I was always trying to unravel what actually happened in the countless mysteries out there, trying to find answers. But instead, what I learned was that more often than not, there are no answers. And that's the most harrowing part. Because of this, I began sharing these stories because I knew I wasn't the only one haunted by these things. My early videos on YouTube were uploaded under the name Nightmare Expo. However, I then shortened it to Nexpo and the name stuck. Now, over 100 videos later, I'm starting this show where every week we'll travel into the unknown, into the depths of the most terrifying real-world horror stories and mysteries together. And hopefully, somewhere along the way, we just might uncover some answers. For your late night, join me in the dark for new and exclusive stories that you can't get anywhere else. From Ballin Studios, this is Late Nights with Nexpo.
8 nights.
That's
Follow
a hot
Late
one
Nights
right
with
there.
Nexpo wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Episodes 1 and 2 will launch on March 5th.
Wow.
It's almost my birthday.
That's your birthday?
The day before is my birthday.
Look at
Did I
that.
just reveal too much?
I'm going to tell you right now, Late Nights with Nexpo, I'm hooked on this too because this gives me the old vibes of Coast to Coast AM. You remember that show?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's right up my alley. My husband and I have gotten into the habit of listening to something just like this at night before we go to bed or like getting us ready for sleep and listening to storytelling, things that are usually a little creepy, a little scary. And the voice matters because it's either going to be interesting, which paranormal stuff is always interesting to me,
Yeah.
but it also can't be like an abrasive kind of voice, you know, like some of the ones that we've come across. I'm like, I love this. I'm listening to something I really want to listen to, but the voice is too aggravating for me to feel relaxed.
Yeah, no, I see this.
I don't know if this is an AI voice or not, but it's soothing.
I was wondering if that's an AI, if Nexpo is AI. If it is, I'm gonna tell you, it's okay. I don't get upset about the AI
Pretty good.
voices because, like you said, it checks all the boxes. I mean, it's no Coast to Coast with George Norrie. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. I've always wanted to bring it back somehow. It's not gone. I always wanted to redo it. But I used to love listening to Coast AM because you'd get those calls, and it'd be late night, and you get the calls about the UFOs and the bird people and the lizard man and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
But they never,
Mothman.
yeah, all. But they never laughed it off. George, whoever was hosting, never laughed it off. And
Mm-hmm.
it was talked about as a real thing. Not that it's not. I'm not one of those. But they didn't get laughed, and I love that show. Late Nights with Nexpo. I love it. We'll have to check that out. Let's get to the next one right here. I like the way this one looks. It says, still can't cook.
Hi, I'm Kelly Faley, and this is Still Can't Cook, a podcast about being me, what it's like to be 50, single, a woman, New York, no kids, no commitments other than you guys, going through life without that partner we're supposed to have, apparently. No settled career at the moment. Everything that I was supposed to do, I didn't do, but still I ended up here. I got a voice. I think there's things you want to hear. I have great stories about my friends, my family. Do you know what it's like to be single? Do you know what it's like to not have anybody to count on? Well, I'm here for you, because so do I. We can talk about things that seem weird, how your body changes, how your friends change, how relationships change. What are you thinking about after 50? What's your goal? Guess what? We can still have them. How's that? Living life, figuring out the changes, because man, shit changes. Everything, to be honest. What you care about, what you don't care about anymore. Friendships ending, friendships beginning. It's a whole new world, and it really does just get better. And I'd love to talk to you about how you feel about it. What are your questions? What are you afraid of? Get your opinions, hear mine about things, and kind of take this little ride together, because it does get better with time. Everything is better. I just feel more at peace. I feel like there's stuff that goes on every day that changes at this age. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcast, on YouTube or any other podcast provider. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, please follow us at Still Can't Cook.
I need her in my life. I need her. I want her to be the friend I call up.
Tell me about
when
it.
I'm
Yeah.
like, my life sucks for a second. Like, I need someone to complain to. Tell me what. She's older than me, which I love, because older than me, wiser than me.
There you go.
Probably.
Maybe.
And lives a very different life than I do, which I love, because then I can listen to what's it like to be single in New York City. That's a whole different program than what I'm living.
When she said that and she starts listing off this thing, I'm single, living in New York City with no kids, I got jealous. Did you?
Yeah. Well, most people, a lot of people are single, living their lives and going, I wish I had found my person and started a family. So grass is never greener on the other side, but it's great to kind of have people of very different backgrounds and life experiences. So you can say, hey, your life is pretty great the way it is.
Right.
And so is mine. We both have some really great things to offer and that we're experiencing, even though our experiences are very different. I have a friend who's also a little bit younger than me, but she was like, oh, I probably won't have kids and I probably won't get married. And I was like, honestly, that's okay. I used to think that was all there was in life. And now I'm like, I'm pretty tied down. I don't hate it, but it just is what it is, right? It's like schedules are not my own. You have more freedom. So I love the perspective. Yeah. I love that she's like, I'm going to give you my opinions. I want a friend who's going to give me opinions. So this is like a podcast friend.
I got to tell you, and I don't know Kelly Faley, I believe what she said, Still Can't Cook. I don't know her, but to do this show, she is putting herself out there in the most vulnerable way. Like when you're talking about I'm single, I'm this, I'm that, and you give all the labels that people look at in a negative way, because there are typical people who will think that way. She is putting herself out there in a more vulnerable way than most podcast hosts. I commend her. I like Kelly. I don't know her. I like her.
Real, it's raw. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Let's get to the next one. One more.
If you lived 100 years ago, who would you have been? What about 1,000 years ago or 10,000? Well, I can promise you this. You, yes, you personally, wouldn't have been someone you've ever heard of. Our stories of the past revolve around towering figures like Alexander the Great, Napoleon, and Cleopatra.
I have a dream.
When we learn about history in school, we're mostly taught through the lens of these great people. We memorize important names and the dates of battles, coronations, and imperial foundations associated with them. Now, don't get me wrong, these people matter. We can learn a lot about the past from what they did. But they're not you. Maybe you're rich, famous, and powerful, but you're probably not. There's nothing wrong with that. Most of us aren't. But we, people like us, like you and me, are the raw material of history, and we always have been. Our forebears may have included a king or queen or two, but the vast majority of our ancestors were the common clay of humanity. At best, they were advisors for those famous kings, or military officers, or members of the court. Maybe they were merchants or priestesses or administrators. More of them weren't even that elevated. They were farmers clinging to the edge of survival. They were shepherds tending their flocks and herds, worrying about wolves and sudden freezes. They were craftspeople, breathing in the smoke from a forge or digging wood splinters out of their fingers.
Or witches.
Our ancestors left only the barest trace in the historical record, if they left any at all. A single clay tablet recording the sale of a pair of enslaved war captives in Assyria, an epitaph for a well-off Roman merchant, an entry in a medieval account book, the rusted fragments of an iron knife with a few bones in a 2,000-year-old grave. Yet each and every one of those people was real, and they mattered. Past Lives is a show about those people and their stories. Every week, we'll explore the experiences and world of a real person who lived at some time and place in the past. They were us, and we are them. By understanding them, we better understand ourselves and our place in this huge, ongoing endeavor that we call humanity. They mattered, and so do you. The first season of Past Lives will be available December 3rd. Be sure to subscribe to the feed now so you get all 3 episodes delivered straight to you. That's December 3rd.
Now, Courtney, I know
This might be my favorite one yet.
I could see. I know this was talking right to your soul right here. Am I right?
I have to tell you a quick story. Okay. I was in Bath, England, and most people know they built the Roman baths there in honor of, and the temple there in honor of Sulis Minerva, a conglomeration of the Celtic goddess and of healing waters and the Roman goddess of sun. And anyway, so a lot of Romans who traveled there to enjoy the baths, they brought offerings to their goddess, right? And they would write things on little scrolls and throw it into the water, into the baths or into the natural hot springs. And that was their way of like asking for things. So this was one way in history that we could see the average person's thoughts and what they were dealing with day to day is they would write a prayer. Sometimes it was a prayer asking for justice from something that they had encountered, like this person harmed me and I want you to harm them. So they would write that down and they would throw it in. And so they have those on display in the museum there in Bath now. You can go and look at those and read them. And it's so fascinating because, again, just like they said in this podcast, it's not the kings and queens and the people you know about in history books. It's the average people that were you and me. And one thing I learned is they cared about the same things we do because their little scrolls would be like, Darius stole my towel.
Oh my gosh, really? Really? It's just normal.
When I was bathing in the baths, and you curse him. And it was like little squabbles of things that we do on the Facebook HOA group.
Oh my gosh.
This neighbor's dog pooped in my yard. Will you strike him with lightning? You know, same kind of shit that we all deal with. Yeah. So that's what this made me think
we're
of.
We're not scribbling on scrolls anymore. We're thumb thugs. We're sitting there and texting on Facebook, calling out the HOA. Past Lives to me, that they got me hooked too. I like this. I'm gonna tell you first of all, the structure of that podcast trailer to me was perfect. They got all the elements that you need to get in there. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but when they tell about the show and they give all the places to December 3rd stuck on my mind right now. You know, that's when this came out. Yeah. So they did a really well job of making it stick and making us think about it. I will check out this trailer. Past Lives podcast. Go search for it, I guess.
Past Lives. I just did a healing session today where we went into past lives. Totally my jam. I want to hear all about it.
This Past Lives thing sounds to me like a lot of the Buddhist kind of thoughts too. It's like that reincarnation and sure, we did live as someone else. Some people think that's where deja vu comes from. You know, there's always little things that play into that. But yeah.
And if we did have past lives, we're not all going to be a witch in Salem, and we're not all going to be a king or we're whatever. I'm actually a descendant of Charlemagne, I'm told in my family line somewhere, but probably so is like half of Europe. I don't know. Who knows, right?
I'm sure I would be a peasant back then. Like, that'd have been me.
We got peasant DNA for sure.
Yeah, I got peasant DNA. That's 1,000,000% accurate. I like this. What you think about Just Blaine's Trailer Park? That's fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. In fact, going to the movies, when I go to the movie theater, it's one of my favorite parts is to watch the previews of the movies that are coming out. So I'm all about trailers.
Have you ever had that group of friends who's always late and they're always like, oh, the movie doesn't start until 10, and you're like, no,
Like,
it's
I want to see the trailer.
I want to see the trailers. I don't give a crap what the trailer is. Show it to me.
How am I going to know what to watch next?
That's why I started going to the movies by myself, you know? Don't have to rely on anybody else. No responsibilities.
That's
Kind of like
fun.
Kelly Faley there. I bet Kelly goes to, she can't cook or whatever, but I guarantee you she goes to the movies by herself.
Probably. She probably has a great time.
I'm still
Nobody
envious.
bugs her.
I'm envious of her right now.
Nobody's asking her to take them to the bathroom in the middle of it, you know?
Oh my gosh. You got both of us now. We're dreaming. See? Damn it, Kelly.
I always thought I would, if I had another life or lived a parallel life than this one, where I was single or whatever, I would go to New York City and I would audition for SNL. That's always been maybe I would have made it in SNL, but maybe I wouldn't have. Who knows?
If you did, what character out there do you think you would have got the role over in all the years of SNL? Who would you have beat out in your audition? There's been some awful
I couldn't
ones.
answer that question because I'm not better than any of them. Please. Like, am I an Amy Poehler? No. I couldn't have taken the spot Kristen Wiig took. They're all so good.
I think if you would have auditioned, I think Lauren would have seen something in you. I think he'd have been like, yeah, you know what? We can do something with her. If he saw
something with that.
If he saw me, he'd say
She
the
can play
same.
an old lady.
Yeah, but if he saw me, he'd say the same thing. Yeah, we can do something with him. Make him get coffee. You know, like that'd be me.
Yeah, I'll take anything. Yeah.
Parallel frequencies.
But you have to be single for that job.
Yeah, right. Parallel frequencies. Just Blane and Coco. We'll see you guys next time.